Happy morning, students. Today we are going to see about equations of motions. This is one of the most important question for your examination and book back questions. So now discuss about equations of motions. Newton studied about the law of motions and Newton is derived these three equations. V equal to u plus at and s equal to ut plus half into at square b square equal to u square plus 2as. These equations are related to the displacement, velocity, acceleration, and the time of an object. So, how to derive these equations from the graph? So, first the object starts from the point D and the velocity is increases. The initial velocity is u with respect to the time and the person reaches the end point B. So we have a initial velocity and final velocity because this shows the change in velocity. Change in velocity means that accelerations. We also one class before we studied about what is acceleration. Acceleration equal to change in velocity divided by time taken. So this graph change in velocity. So we have a initial velocity and final velocity, but this is uniformly accelerated because this is a give a straight line. We also studied about the graphical representation of the velocity time graph. Uniform acceleration and the non-uniform acceleration we studied about it. So the initial velocity is u, the final velocity is v, the time is t, and the acceleration is a, and it reaches the distance s. So now we discuss about how to derive the equations from this graph one by one. First, you draw the graph from your notebook because these equations are derived from the graph. So இந்த கிராஃபை உங்க நோட் புக்ல வரைஞ்சி வச்சுக்கோங்க. அப்பதான் நம்ம வந்து ஈக்குவேஷன் டெரிவ் பண்ணக்குள்ள இந்த கிராஃப்ல இருந்து தான் நம்ம டெரிவ் பண்ண போறோம். அப்ப இதை கம்பேர் பண்ணி தான் நம்ம பார்க்க போறோம். அப்ப இந்த கிராஃபை பார்க்கணும் நீங்க. ஆனா ஸ்கிரீன்ல தெரியாது. ஆனா நீங்க நோட் புக்ல வந்து வரைஞ்சி வச்சுக்கணும். ஓகேவா? அப்பதான் வந்து உங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப ரொம்ப ஈஸியா இருக்கும் பார்க்கறதுக்கு. From the graph, we find out the first initial velocity. Already you know that initial velocity of the object is u. From the graphic initial velocity, the person start from the d. So initial velocity equal to OD equal to EA. And we find out the final velocity. Final velocity of the object. We know that the final velocity represents v. So v equal to, it reaches the b. So the final velocity equal to from the point to, from this origin to end. So OC equal to EB. Next we calculate the time. Time represents the symbol T. So T equal to OE equal to TA. From the graph, we know that the AB equal to AC. AB equal to, sorry, BC. From the graph, AB equal to DC. So, first we calculate the basic items, derive the basic items in the graph. First, you derive the first equation of motions. First equations of motion. So, by definition, acceleration. Acceleration equal to, already we know that, what is this? Change in velocity divided by time. Change in velocity divided by time. So, change in velocity means that final velocity minus initial velocity. So, change in velocity equal to final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. Divided by time. We already derived the initial velocity of the object. What is this? O, initial velocity and final velocity. What is this final velocity? OC. From the graph, we have a final velocity. So, OC. OC minus initial velocity. What is this? OD. Divided by, what is the time? OE. Divided by time OE. So, we conclude that OC minus OD equal to OO cancel. So, DC. DC divided by OE represented the time. So, we put in the OE equal to time T. This is the acceleration. A equal to DC divided by T. Next, AT, that is T. So, this is another side. It is this side multiplication, sorry, division. So, another side go to the T. It is a multiplication. So, AT equal to AT equal to DC. So we also know from the graph DC equal to AB. So DC equal to AB equal to AT. So from the graph EB equal to EA plus AB. So EB, what is this from the graph? EB equal to B, AE equal to U, AB equal to AT. So EB equal to B equal to EA equal to U plus AB. We find out the DC equal to AB equal to AT. So AB value is AT. So this is the first equations. First equations of motions derived from the graph. Next we can see about the second equations of motion. The second equations of motion is derived from the total distance covered by the object during the time. So we have taken to starting point is D and ending point is B. So this is covered here area of the quadrupole. This quadrupole divided into area of the rectangle and area of the triangle. So the second equation of motions we discovered by total distance divided by during the time t. So distance is S equal to area of the quadrangle D O E B, because the person எங்கிருந்து எதற்கும் பிலேருந்து பி வரைக்கும் ரீச் ஆகிறாங்க. நம்ம அந்த பாயிண்ட்டை எடுக்கணும்னா இந்த குவார்டர் போல நம்ம எடுத்தாகணும். ஓகேவா? அப்போ எடுக்கக்குள்ள நமக்கு என்ன ஆகுது, அது ரெக்டாங்கிளாகவும் இருக்கு. ரெக்டாங்கிள் என்னென்னது DOEA, this the rectangle, and another part is triangle. What is this triangle? DAB. So we write the area of the quadrupole DOEB equal to area of the rectangle DOEA plus area of the triangle DAB. So next, the area of the triangle, we write down the AE and OE. AE and OE, because this is based on the time. So we write down the area of the rectangle DOE equal to AE into O E plus area of the triangle, we write down the half into AB into DA. நீங்க கிராஃபை பார்த்தாலே தெரியும் நம்ம எதனால இந்த மாதிரிலாம் எழுதுறோம்னு சொல்லிட்டு. இந்த ட்ரையாங்கலை நீங்க கிராஃபை வந்து ரெஃபர் பண்ணுங்க. ஓகேவா? ஸோ AE into OE is equal to UT because initial velocity, and half into AB into DA equal to AT square. So S equal to AE into OU value. What is this? UT plus half. We put in the half into AB into DA value equal to AT square. This is not a 2, AT square. So this is the second equations of the motions. S equal to UT plus half into AT square. This is the second equations of the motions. Next we see about third equations of the motion. Now we calculate the third equations of motions. We find out the distance covered by the object during that time. It is a quadrupole, but it is also a trapezium. So the distance equal to area of a trapezium DOED. So this is divided into half into sum of length of parallel sides into distance between parallel sides. So from the graph we find out the half into OD plus BE into OU. This value is half into initial velocity plus final velocity into OU equal to time. So we know that acceleration equal to final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. So acceleration equal to v minus u divided by t. So we have find out the time. Time equal to v minus u into a. This equation substitute in the distance. This equation s equal to half into u plus v into t. So t க்கு பதிலா நம்ம இந்த வேல்யூவை சப்ஸ்டிட்யூட் பண்ண போறோம். ஓகேவா? அப்ப s equal to half into v plus u into v minus u divided by a. This is a formula for a plus b into a minus b. This is a square minus b square. So a square minus b square formula equal to a plus b into a minus b. This is a plus a square minus b square formula இருக்கு. So அதுக்கு பதிலா நம்ம என்ன பண்ண போறோம்? b square minus u square. So this two and a is the division இருக்கு. So அந்த சைடு போகும்போது multiplication ஆயிடும். So 2as equal to b square minus u square. So we find out the b square equal to u square plus 2as. This is the third equations of the motions. So in this class we find out the equations of motions. From this graph, we find out the three equations. So, thank you, student.